The leading expert on infectious diseases in the United States and a key member of the White House's coronavirus task force has warned that lifting restrictions too soon could lead to further spikes in cases. And his message is at odds with that of President Trump, who is very keen to get the economy moving again. Our North America correspondent Nick Bryant sent this report from New York.
Washington continues to look like a scene from some dystopian drama. This, the still surreal sight of senators donning face masks for a hearing on COVID-19. One senior Democrat resembling a bandit from the Wild West.
Or cities or regions.
The key voice was America's top pandemic official, Anthony Fauci, who strongly warned about the dangers of reopening too quickly, a message for the country, a message for his boss, Donald Trump.
If that occurs, there is a real risk that you will trigger an outbreak that you may not be able to control, which in fact, paradoxically, will set you back, not only leading to some suffering and death that could be avoided, but could even set you back on the road to trying to get economic recovery.
We don't want your shutdown anymore.
The pandemic has demonstrated the polarization of America. This a Liberty rally in Boston, Massachusetts, a Tea Party-style protest demanding the immediate reopening of the economy. Donald Trump continues to hold press conferences where he often lavishes himself with praise, this time boasting about American testing. But though the reporters are masked, they're impossible to muzzle. This a Chinese-American correspondent from the US network CBS.
Why is this a global competition to you if every day Americans are still losing their lives and we're still seeing more cases every day?
Well, they're losing their lives everywhere in the world. And maybe that's a question you should ask China.
Sir, why are you saying that to me specifically?
I'm telling you, I'm not saying it specifically to anybody. I'm saying it to anybody that would ask a nasty question like that.
That's not a nasty question.
Please go ahead.
But can I ask you
Ladies and gentlemen,
please?
thank you very much. Appreciate it. Thank you very much.
But he left without taking any more questions. An abrupt exit from a president looking for a quick escape from this crisis. Nick Bryant, BBC News, New York.
Well, China's handling of the pandemic, in its initial stages especially, continues to be questioned internationally. But at home, the Chinese authorities say it's been a triumph. There have been no recorded deaths from the virus for over 2 weeks now, and the official infection rates have fallen dramatically, as our China correspondent John Sudworth tells us.
For 2 months, they had no work. But now, these hairdressers are once again doing their usual morning team-building routine. Bouncing back just like the wider Chinese economy. They've no doubt who they have to thank for their salons reopening. We all trust the Communist Party, the owner Ah Xing tells me, and we have faith in China. Accused of covering up the early outbreak and facing accusations that the virus came from the illegal wildlife trade or even an accidental leak from this lab, China knows it's under pressure internationally. But you wouldn't know it from state-run media, showing China triumphing over the virus at home and as a powerful provider of medical aid to a world in disarray. Nothing says returning normality in Beijing quite like a traffic jam. And while the world grapples with the big questions over China's involvement in the crisis, it would be wrong, of course, to dismiss everything it's done as authoritarian folly. For others hoping to get out of lockdown, there may be lessons here too. Might masks be one of those lessons? Some scientists believe they may have been the key to China's success in reducing infection rates so dramatically.
In mainland China, it is almost compulsory to go out with a mask. And perhaps that really make a big difference, because we know that many COVID-19 patients are asymptomatic or very mildly symptomatic. So they won't go for testing at all. So you won't never detect these sort of people. Masking is a continuous process which actually protects you and others from getting infected as a result.
In Wuhan, the city where the outbreak began, the authorities are now planning to test all 11 million residents, the result of a small new cluster of cases, according to state-run media. There are other aspects of China's approach that may be hard to emulate, like forcing people to download apps that track their movements. But whether by coercion or common sense, few can doubt this country appears to have turned the corner, seemingly against the odds, and it's celebrating. John Sudworth, BBC News, Beijing.